Hello, and in this episode, we are going to speak about movies, but I believe not just about movies, and actually, mostly and only about how movies might change people and how movies could have an impact on us. We will discuss about it if we believe or not that movies might change our psychology, our personality, and our behavior. So to discuss about that, I have my lovely co-host, and so my co-host is Elle, and she used to watch a lot of movies. When I say a lot, I was blown away how many movies she watched. So hello Elle.
Hi. Um, is it my turn to speak?
Yes, can you introduce yourself and can you speak a little bit about yourself first?
Hi. If you've been listening to this podcast, of course, you've already know that it's me, Elle. And I believe in terms of what Mr. Pierre Henry Soria said about my habits of watching movies, I think I kind of maybe um, created a fake scenario of myself here because usually when he asks what the name of movies, the names of actors, and then stuff like that, I almost answer the name of the movies. And then, oh, he will ask, have you watched it? And I said, no. So really, that was an overstatement.
However, you have watched a lot of movies. I know that.
I did, but it's just that it just so happens that yes, when he looks for a title of a movie or a scene of a movie, I know what it is. And sometimes when he asks me if I've already watched it, sometimes I say no.
Although most of the time you did. So can you? I think it's best first to start with you, Elle. Can you can you speak about a little bit how you feel after watching a movie, and how do you if you feel differently, and how you think it could impact on you?
Okay, let's start with how I feel after watching a movie. I mean, we have different hobbies per se, and I understand that just some watching a movie is something that they could just do in the background or while cooking, or you know, or maybe not watching movies at all, which is it's fine, and I understand that. But for me, I'm I really like focusing on a movie and knowing the story and the details of it. I think Mr. Pierre know my my comments with regards to a certain scene, a certain point of a movie, how some are just total, like, why is it part of the movie? Does it add to the movie? Like I'm that kind of person. I'm not a movie critique whatsoever, but then I just like to, I would say, I just like to maybe, just dig deeper into a movie. I don't even, I listen to conversations in the movie, like lines, and say, why did they say that? It sounds so stupid. It doesn't add to the story whatsoever. So why did they did that? Why did they added the scenes, stuff like that? I'm much more into details of the movie in itself. But also I'm a sucker for good films. Like the story, how they made the film, it's good for me. So yeah, when I watch a really well-made movie, I feel well, to be honest. But when I watch, sorry, I'm gonna say stupid movies, it's like sometimes I feel like I just wasted my an hour and 30 minutes of my life, to be honest.
Time, yes.
My time, yes. So it's really important to watch a movie that is, worthwhile, I would say. And not just oh, because my favorite actor is there. I'm much more into the director per se, because some director are well known for movie styles, and we would expect more when it comes to directors. So yeah, I just don't watch it because somebody's there. I usually watch it because of the director, and sometimes even the story or the synopsis of the movie.
About the plot, do
The
you mean?
plot, yes, about the plot. So that's important for me. So, anyways,
Usually, if the plot looks a bit like, I don't know, the the kind of life you would love to have or the kind of life you had, would this influence your choice in the movie you will pick up or not?
I mean, relatability is good, you know?
Okay. And those movies make your way of thinking differently. You know, sometimes you feel less secure because you watched a lot of criminal movies, a lot of horror movies, or different kind of movies that, you know, they show a lot of gangsters or maybe robbers, stealers, and fights in the streets. And then when you go maybe in the country where the movie was made, you feel directly less safe, and the perception of the place will be different just because you watched a movie that was made, that was supposed to be in that city or that country. Like in my case, I watched Criminal Minds, and it was in Miami. And then now, when I think about Miami, I don't think about a safe and amazing place, although I believe it is also the case. But because of that TV series, I think about criminals and about those kind of murders and so on. Just because a movie changed my life, I would maybe think twice before to go to that place. Does that happen for you? And how do you see this kind of situation?
I think when it comes to let's just say crimes in Miami, it's realistic. I get that. But then it doesn't scare me at all. But when it comes to those, you know, things that doesn't exist, like people that comes out on TV from the well, like if you're familiar with horror movies, The Ring, that scares me, you know. Like horror ones that are unreal per se, but crimes they happen, and so that's okay. I mean, that's not okay, but then it's the reality. But when we speak about supernatural things, I get scared about that. I'm sorry, it's just yeah. My there was actually a noise in the bathroom. This is reality, and then I was a bit scared of the noise in the bathroom, and then it's
Because of that.
because of those horror movies that I watch.
So then, when you hear those kind of noises, you might have seen in one movie, you might have heard in one movie, like you saw maybe a woman in the bathroom and there were some noises from the air condition, from, I don't know, a pipe somewhere in the toilet. Then it will remind you from that scene in the movie. So the movie will, like, it's still in your head, and when that kind of situation happens, you will remind about that scene, and so you will feel a bit scared, although you know that it's not rational to have that kind of fear, but it's too strong, it's still there in you, right? This is what you meant?
Yeah, but not that strong per se. I don't go around with my hands flailing above my head, running away from the noise and saying, ah, no.
Okay, I don't know that scene anyway,
Yeah.
but I can imagine, yes.
Yeah, I don't go around running away
Of
from the
course.
toilet, that's, but yeah, I mean, it influences my thinking, especially horror ones, because I really like horror genres, which is a bit weird.
But it influences your thinking. Can you describe how?
Like, I think a lot about things that are lurking in the darkness. I know they don't exist, but then sometimes it's just the movie. Even though how bad the horror movie is, it's just how unoriginal it is. It's like sometimes it just sticks in your head, and I'm like, yeah, I should stop watching them, but then they're so addicting. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So.
Okay, so yeah, you think they influenced you a little bit, but at the same time, you know they're a bit bad for you because you might be a bit scared, but you still prefer to watch them because you are addicted to those movies, although you know that sometimes they scare you later on when you have to go to bed or when you have to sleep or for different kind of situations.
Yeah, yeah, which is I don't know why, but then yeah, I still watch them, and I know that I should stop, but then sometimes it's like they're my favorite genre, and then yeah, they have an after effect in me, but then not like often per se. So not often. Sometimes I just don't care, to be honest. Like right now, I don't care. I have like much worse problems, like real problems, so not those
Not horror movies.
not those horror movies. Okay.
I see.
Yeah. So
And in my case, I do have this, so I wonder if you have the same. When I watch a movie, usually for the 2 following days, especially when the movie is a bit more like tragic or a bit a drama movie, I I see the scene a little bit later on. It's like the movie is living in me for like 1 day, 2 days, and I will think about some scenes. Like lately, I watched It Ends. It wasn't a good movie. I mean, the plot wasn't that good, but after I felt like, wow, you know, that those kind of some scenes were still in my head for like 24 hours. And after it's just gone. However, when I watch happy movies, I feel happier after, and I feel even more motivated. When I watch like a bit scary movies or drama movies, I feel a bit more not worried, but a bit more aware of what could happen in my life, for instance.
for me, I don't translate. I mean, I've created some sort of boundaries when it comes to movies. I know they're just movies, they're fake. So I mean, some movies are based on true stories, of course. Just pointing that out. But then most of the movies are just made up stories. So I don't really think about them, especially if they're not that good. I think what the movie you were talking about was this. Not is it?
It ends.
This is how it ends. No, it's not that.
I think the name is It Ends, but I might be not. Maybe it's not correct, but it's something really similar.
Yeah, it's about the husband looking for the wife in the
It's about the end of the world,
yeah.
and yeah, it's a funny plot. But after it was a little bit dwelling me. I mean, like it was in my head, and I was a bit more aware of what could go bad,
Yeah,
basically.
like is this the husband looking for the wife and the wife of the father of the wife came with him? Is that the story that you're talking about?
Yes, so the father went with the brother-in-law, with the son-in-law, sorry,
Yeah.
and to yeah, so she was in Seattle, I think, and they drove till there, and during the drive, a lot of things happened. And because basically, for some reason, because the fiance was supposed to flee, um, to go to her. They were in Miami, no, in Chicago,
Yeah.
and have to drive till Seattle, and basically we don't really know actually what happened. It's basically
Cliffhanger.
I mean, it's a volcano. What happened there
Oh,
in
it's Seattle.
Seattle? It's
Yeah.
like a volcano. I don't know, a lot of. I don't know. It's just climate disasters.
Yeah, I've seen that movie as well. It didn't dwell on me. You know why? Because I didn't like the movie.
Oh yeah. So that.
It's
So wait. Do you mean it might influence you? It might dwell in you only when you like the movie?
only when I find the artistic value of the movie.
In my case, it's usually when, yeah, it depends. But sometimes you feel the movie, you are really deep in the movie, like you are living in the movie. not for like it ends, but still it was a bit dwelling in myself. I mean, it was I was thinking about some scenes for like a day or so. Yes,
Yeah.
a day or even almost two. Yeah, it's interesting. So, like in my case, I haven't watched a lot of movies compared to my co-host Elle, but so Elle, do you think you would have been different if you haven't watched any movies or just a few? Like what kind of psychology changed, or maybe mindset, or maybe even nowadays we speak a lot about how people can improve their English by watching American TV series and movies and so on for non-native English speakers. And I know Elle, you are from the Philippines, so you have a kind of a American accent, I would say. So we can also discuss about that. But first, let's speak about your psychology. How did it change? If you believe, yeah, probably you would have been a little bit different if you didn't watch any movies.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you know, movies opens your eyes to different cultures. I didn't just necessarily watch English movies. I watch Korean ones, Japanese ones, Spanish, French even. And yeah, it opens you to a different world per se, not really world, but more like a different part of the earth, you know? Like you're you're different, the others are different, and it opens you to different perceptions. And then, you know, you don't limit yourself to the belief that yes, just because you're from this country or that country, you remain the same, you know, like you should adapt yourself and just do whatever you wish, to be honest. But then yeah, for sure I would have been different if I didn't watch a lot of movies, because first of all, yes, it greatly influenced my speaking abilities, and also my writing, even listening abilities.
Oh, writing, do you mean about the expressions you
Expressions,
use?
yes.
The vocabulary?
Vocabulary, yes.
You have a richer vocabulary, you would say?
Yes, and also the pronunciation and enunciation of words. It's like when you read a book, it's up in the air for you, especially when it's not your main language. But then when you watch movies, and then it kind of sounds familiar, looks familiar, and then yeah, and then you do the link, and then you know you know how to pronounce it, and sometimes you know some slangs, or even informal terminologies, which is yeah, it's good, it's handy when you know one of these days you go there. Yeah, if
Do you mean the country where you watched the movie?
yes,
Yes.
yeah, it could be
At
handy.
least you know some local slang words.
Yeah,
Yes.
but then yeah, it's yeah, I would have been, you know, a very changed person if I didn't use this medium of entertainment as my as one of my medium of entertainment per se. And yeah, and then what was your other question again? Sorry, Pierre.
Yes, about your psychology, about yourself, and yeah, like in my case, I'm really curious how movies could influence you in a good sense, in a good manner, but also in a not in a bad manner as well.
I think I think it's just that I think I just view movies as a learning tool, sometimes an entertainment tool as well. And I'm pretty confident with my with the line that I've drawn between I am real and the movies aren't.
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
so I understand that. So just because you see Mean Girls, I don't know, doesn't mean you have to be the same, because it's not you. I grew up to watch a lot of James Bond, or you know, but I don't believe in those things. I mean, I I believe they don't exist. I don't know, but then I didn't go around, you know, liking guns. You know, I'm
yeah.
really timid, passive. So yeah, it doesn't really. It depends on the person. I mean, my father really liked war movies, but then he isn't much of, you know, he's not violent or anything. He's just, maybe the history he wants that, or maybe he just likes action just because he's a man. But you know, I too watch them with him, but then not just because I watch them doesn't mean, there's no, it's just for entertainment purposes, and just as long, and I know in myself that there is a line. Those are not real.
Yeah, of
I am
course.
real.
Yeah, I believe every non-sick people believe in that line. Definitely, it's like nowadays people speak about video games, and especially about violent video games, how it could make some teenagers more violent because of the violent video games. In my case, I don't believe in that because myself, I played Call of Duty and those kind of video games, and I'm the opposite of a violent person because obviously I believe only sick people would not see this is not a reality. But everybody else, we know, oh yeah, this is a reality, this is not a reality. And even if you live in a really violent country, it doesn't mean you will become more violent. It really depends of your personality and of your values and of who you are. It's not because you see someone violent in the street that you will become violent. No, no one does that. I mean, at least
depends on your personality.
Yeah, people don't become another one just for fun. No, that doesn't work that way. And yeah, it's the same for movies, fortunately. Now in movies, I believe it's really nice because sometimes it opens your mind and you see things you wouldn't have had thought. I mean, things like sometimes you don't think something would have been possible or would have been done differently, and it opens your mind how others can think and can react in a specific situation. So you would see, I don't know, someone got his wallet or her purse stolen. That person will react like really in a really calm manner or in a really angry and upset manner, and you say, oh wow, that person does that, wow, it's funny. Yes, I mean that maybe my example is not really good, but I'm thinking also about a lot of different situations. Sometimes, like for a lot of people that maybe haven't been to the US, and a lot of movies are actually done in the US, and there are also a lot of true in those movies. Like, I don't know, especially in normal movies, like romantic movies, normal drama movies, not science fiction movies, but mostly about drama movies or romantic movies. It's mostly about the average life in the US a bit. So, people see like the life in New York City, maybe the life in Silicon Valley, or I don't know, the life in San Francisco, in DC or whatsoever, and that's always interesting. Yeah, I believe movies are actually a good way to entertain yourself, but you should always have a good balance because, in my case at least, when I watch movies for a whole day, I don't feel well. Actually, Elle, how do you feel? Do you feel better after watching a movie, or how do you feel if you watch 2 or 3 movies in a row?
To be honest, sometimes I have a headache, but I don't feel bad. But then I have a headache.
But do you feel better? Do you feel well? Because it's a kind of a way to entertain yourself. So if you didn't watch the movie, would you feel better after watching a movie or without watching a movie?
It depends on how good the movie is, because sometimes
Yes.
some movies make you feel like you wasted your time. But when you watch Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, on the same night, yeah, I would feel good. Yeah, because it's a good movie. 100% I'd feel good. Yeah.
And would you think about some scenes and would you visualize again some scenes of the movie?
Yeah. Especially
Yes.
when it's good. I like visualizing them, like, wow, that scene was so good. I even remember my favorite scenes of the movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was it?
What do you mean?
Your favorite scene?
I really like Wes Anderson films. I think they're good. I think the Grand Budapest Hotel. I really like it. And then there was this scene where they were discussing about um, the inheritance of an old lady, and it was just the whole movie was well made in my own opinion. And then the transition was so good. I couldn't explain it. You have to have a look, to be honest. You have to see all the movie. I mean, the movie itself. But yeah, I remember the scene, and there was this line, and there's this one offensive word, and I cannot say it. And then yeah, it's if you've seen the Grand Budapest Hotel, you'd remember that, the boy in Apple is being given to the hotel head, and because he had a relationship with a client of the hotel, which is a really old woman who has died, and so the son,
It has died
yeah,
before
she died, but she's
or
old.
after the relationship they had.
They still were in a relationship. Yeah, and then he's a younger man, and she's an older woman, and then the son was so disapproving of their relationship, but actually the son is a bad guy. So it was like he doesn't like the presence of the hotel head, and then there was some brawl, and then it's funny because because you'll see that I cannot explain the scene, but it's really well made scene, and then yeah, and then in the end he said, "Let's change the subject. I'm leaving." He said, and then
Oh wow.
he left, and then he stole the painting that yeah, the boy in Apple. He stole the painting. And yeah, that's it. And then it started a whole series of events, and then yeah, I really like that scene.
I can see you really liked that movie, the way you described it. So yeah, it's nice. When did you watch the movie? Because to me, it sounds that the scene is still really clear for you in your head.
Oh, I was in college, so let's say
10 years ago, no, a bit less, like 7 years ago.
7, 8, yeah.
7, 8.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's still really clear. So probably you are really focused in the movie.
Because it was so
That day.
good. And there were some French lines there as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And actually, the director released a new movie, and it's called with Timothée Chalamet in there, The French Dispatch. Yes.
Oh, I think I heard about it.
I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it. Anyways. Yeah.
That sounds good. So yeah, movies. You remember some parts of it. Obviously, it might impact in a good way or bad way, because obviously when it's a good movie, at least for you, you feel well. If it's a bad movie, you don't really feel like it's a waste of time, but you just feel like okay. For me, usually, even if it's a good movie, I cannot watch like 4 movies in a row, because I prefer to build things always in my day. Like building things, I mean by making things. Like, I don't know, writing, reading, reading is like watching a movie, but yeah, it really depends of your mood, of what you want to do during your life, or what you want to learn or whatsoever. So for movies, do you believe that you can really learn a new language with a movie? Like, I know you are learning Japanese, and you mentioned you watched a few not Japanese but Korean movies. Do you think if you watch one Korean movie or maybe TV series on a daily basis, for instance, would it improve your language skill or not?
I think so, because I never really explicitly learned Korean, but then I know some words. But then when it comes to probably grammar and how to use proper words in which sentences, probably it's not going to help you, to be honest. But picking up some words, easy words, and yeah, it will help you.
Oh,
But then not the proper grammar per se.
I see.
Else.
And with English movies, of course, you have really good level. I mean, you are fluent in English, but do you think you might sometimes use some expressions normally you wouldn't use just because of a movie, or maybe because you think it's funny, so you use a funny or different expression you just heard in a movie?
Yeah, sometimes I do actually, but then I grow out of it, and then I see, I mean, hear another expression, and then I grow out of it. It's like a cycle. Yeah, but then I believe that in terms of pronunciation and my accent, I think movies that influence me a lot, because yeah, we do have a medium of teaching which is English, but then you might pick up the accent of your teacher.
Oh,
But then
yes.
since I'm watching English movies most of the time, I pick this accent, and then yeah,
I see. Yeah, you don't have the Filipino accent,
I have
indeed.
sometimes though.
Oh, you do. Oh, good to know. But yeah, I have some colleagues. They are Filipino and they have a different accent
Oh, do
than
you
you.
speak with them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they are working in the Philippines,
Yeah.
but with video calls,
Oh,
sometimes in meetings, and so they speak. And they speak really well English, but they have a little mild accent. They do. Maybe they didn't watch as much movies as you. I believe some people are much better or much easier at picking the accent from a movie than others. Some people are more like, how to say, not visual learners, but when they hear, they learn from what they hear. Audio learners, no.
I have.
You know,
I
you
don't.
pick up the accent what you
Yeah,
hear from
yeah,
what you hear. I believe for you, probably you are really good at learning from what you hear.
yeah.
So yes, movies, like if you have a kid, would you, like some parents, they don't want their kids to watch TV until they are 7, or nowadays it's mostly tablets or movies. They say to the kids, no, you should go outside, you should see kids, don't watch movies. Now you are too young for that. And some parents, they don't. They say to the kids, okay, on Saturday or on Sunday you can watch maximum 2 hours of a cartoon or maybe an anime on the TV, on the PC, on the tablet. What do you think about that?
I mean,
I know for you, you didn't have a really strong, really strict education about probably movies. I mean, watching TVs. But what do you think about yourself?
I'm pretty good with disciplining myself, to be honest. I mean, I didn't.
But for your kids, like, do you think it's a good idea or
I
not
mean,
for
hopefully
kids?
they're gonna be like me, where from the get go. I mean, I watched cartoons on TV when I was in kindergarten, but then after that, I don't really like watching TV.
Mm.
I don't like.
Although you are watching a lot of movies,
Yeah, but TV, like media and
I spoke mostly about
tablets and that.
movies
Yeah.
and yeah, movies.
I mean, if they want to, there's no.
Okay, so you wouldn't mind kids to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, but they probably won't have a tablet.
Do you think it's good for them or not?
I mean, and there must be some sort of limitation, of course. Not like the way I did, where I just, sometimes watch movies.
You are
Running
even
time.
sometimes forgetting about eating?
Oh no, I
did
eat watching movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's really interesting you speak about this, because a lot of people say if you eat while watching a movie, you don't realize you are eating. And so you eat, but you don't even, maybe you eat, I don't know, peas with smashed potatoes and ginger. And someone will say, oh, did you like the ginger? And you said, what ginger? And you wouldn't realize you add ginger in your meal because you are so focused in the movie, and so it's just to fulfill your mouth. but you are not focused on the food, you are focused on the movie. So even after having eaten a whole meal, you would still be hungry.
I have no clue with
What
regards
about
to
you?
that.
No? Okay.
But then I think
Because for me, I tend to not eat while I'm watching a movie, because eating, it's important for me to take my time, and when I watch a movie, I believe I eat too quickly.
yeah, I think I just eat fruits, to be honest.
Oh yes.
There was yeah, and I think I would feel that I ate ginger. Yeah, I would feel
Okay,
because it's too
it was just an example, but
Yeah.
it could be something else in the meal.
But yeah, but I remember this one summer we just watched like movies, a lot of it, and then I was just eating some really water rich fruit that's just in my backyard, and like I was eating like whole plates of it, like plenty of plates with salt, and then I was just eating it, and then actually it was good, to be honest. It was so good, so sweet, so say it's just sweet and salty, and then after that, yeah, I feel full and everything, but then it it didn't really change. I mean, I felt full, like how I would be full when I was eating while watching movies per se. Yeah. But then unrelated to that, I lost a lot of weight, and my mom was not happy because I'm already a small child, and then I lost tons of.
Yes.
Just 2 kilograms of weight loss is not good for me. So
So
yeah.
movies sometimes can actually, if you want to lose weight, sometimes watching a movie can help you to lose weight, apparently. At least.
No, case per case.
Yes, case per case. Like you are eating more movies than food, I believe. Yeah, so finally, it's hard to say. I believe movies are a really good way to entertain yourself. It changes sometimes your culture, even sometimes, I mean, not really the perception of what you have. I believe your friends influence your thinking way more than movies.
Yeah.
Much more. You can see that every day. It's not because you watch a lot of movies where people are really extrovert that you will become extrovert. No, because you say, yeah, it's a movie. And in my case, I never heard someone saying, oh, I became extrovert because I watched a lot of American movies where they speak to strangers. No. However, if they only hang out with extrovert friends, they will probably become more extrovert. Definitely, because they will hang out with them and they will become more influenced. The same for your education, for you with the kind of parents or family you are with, you will be probably more influenced with that kind of situation. But movies don't change yourself. At least for 99% of human beings, I believe. At least that's what I believe, and from what I have seen so far, and I believe, Elle, you have the same, the same opinion than me.
Yeah, I mean, we know that movies are fake, and then even those videos that we see online where people market it as true, we even tell that it's fake video, don't believe it. So I believe that most of the people have a clear understanding that what's true or not.
Yes, I believe that's why the brain knows, oh yeah, this is fake.
This is fake.
And even for the accent, I have noticed so far, although if you watch like 10 hours of movies a week with the American accent, your accent won't change as fast as if you are in a host family in the US. Your host family will be obviously from the US, and they will speak to you. You will pick up that accent much quicker because the interaction you will have with them will be like really authentic, like really true, like much stronger. The feeling you will have while speaking will have a much stronger impact on yourself rather than on a movie, because on a movie you always have a distance. You, the screen, and then the movie.
Yeah, and
And
also
the actors are actors. They are faking it, basically.
yeah, and also when you have a host family somewhere in USA, well, those are mundane interactions, you know. So your brain will be conditioned that yeah, it's a mundane interaction, and then you're gonna pick the accent faster. But compared to movies, it's like there's a set time for it compared to being in a host family where it's just every day, it's daily living. Yeah, so that's it for me.
I see. That's amazing. So in my case, my perception of movies, I believe movies are quite interesting. It depends the kind of movies. However, for my kids, I believe I wouldn't let my kids under 17 to watch more than maybe 3 hours of movies a week, because I believe they should more play outside and first to see the real life, especially because before 7 years old is where you build yourself, your whole psychology, your whole personality. So especially movies, it's hard to control. It's hard to see just from the cover if the movie might be good or bad. And some kids get traumatized by a movie. In my case, I remember when I was a kid, I watched a movie about extraterrestrial, and I was so worried, and I was freaking out about going to bed alone because I was worried about being kidnapped by
E.T.?
by E.T. I mean, that
thought
movie.
E.T. was nice.
The movie wasn't E.T. No,
Oh, it
the
wasn't?
movie wasn't E.T.
Oh, I thought it was
The
E.T.
movie was about bad extraterrestrials,
Oh,
about bad people from the
extraterrestrial.
space.
Terrestrial.
Yes, they didn't look like E.T. at all. So this is why, and they were actually cloning themselves, pretending they were like your mom, and actually they were not your mom. They were like just fake people.
I've seen that movie actually, and
Oh,
then
it was a French movie.
oh, it was a French movie.
Yes,
'Cause I
and
think I've seen a
actually,
movie like that.
they pretended to be like me. You would think it's me, and actually I'm not myself. I'm the body. I look like me, but actually I am someone from the space. And so you think I'm myself. I'm Pierre, and then I will kidnap you and somewhere in I don't know, in the space. And the power those people had from the space would be to be like a chameleon, like to take the whole identity. I mean, physical especially. Like the appearance of someone else. So it was a bit scary, and I think it gave me a really, like, for a few years I was not doing well when I had to sleep alone in my bedroom, and I would wake up during the night. And even now, when I think about it, it's still a bit in myself, like I have a bit of fear. So that's why I would check properly. After 7, after 12, I would be much more, oh yeah, you have to, it's nice to let your kids also free, but it's for the good of them, because I believe if they watch really scary movies when they are kids, it will be with themselves for their entire life, and that's really not what you want to happen for your kids. So yes, I think I would be really careful, and I believe movies can also have a bad impact on young people, because when you are young, especially when you are a kid, you will be much more vulnerable, because it's harder for you to see this is actually not true. You would believe more, oh, those people really do that? Like, oh, people really do this kind of bad things? You are still like innocent. So yeah, movies can have actually a really bad impact on kids, like from 5 to 12, you have to be definitely really careful. Now, obviously, movies are a good way to entertain yourself. It's a nice way, sometimes you are worried, you have a lot of stress, you are thinking about, I don't know, something is worrying. I mean, maybe you are thinking about, you have personal issues in your life, and just going to the cinema. I speak about cinema and not watching a movie at home, because at home you are still you can still watch, you can still be distracted on your phone. It's still tempting to go and check in your phone. At the cinema, you have to turn off your phone. You cannot do anything else. You cannot turn on the light. So that's why the cinema is really good when you have a lot of personal issues or a lot of stress on yourself, because the movie will just usually entertain yourself for 2 hours, and it will help you not thinking about it. So if you go to the cinema watching a funny, happy, hilarious, about someone who succeeded in their life, it will give you at least 2 really good hours of your day. And that's why actually going to the cinema sometimes it's really cool, because it it stops you from doing something else. At home, obviously, you can always check your phone, go into the kitchen, eating some fruits in the fridge, or doing something else. So yes, movies have also a really good power of making you more focused, and yeah, helping you in a lot of different manners, and just to entertain yourself. You have so many amazing TV shows on Netflix and on different movie platforms, Disney Plus, and so on. So I believe that's it for me too. Do you have anything to add, Elle?
Yeah, that's it for me. Draw the line, that's all.
Beautiful. So we'll see in next week for a different topic. Bye.
See ya.